Support WrestleTalk!
Visit WrestleTalk.com. How will Ronda Rousey change WWE? I'm Oli Davis, this is Luke Owen, welcome to WrestleRamble, and the wrestling world is abuzz with the biggest news of the year, arguably. Jeremy Borash has joined NXT, potentially, reportedly. What do we think about that?
I know you've done this as a joke because the big news really is Ronda Rousey has joined WWE, but this is actually genuinely quite big news.
Yes.
I think this is actually huge news.
Bigger news.
Could be bigger. Well, I don't think it's bigger
than
news.
Rousey.
It's not bigger news than Rousey.
Not bigger than that point.
No, it's certainly not.
Much.
No, I'm still feeling the effects of that point. Like the force that she did has now travelled across the ocean and it's started to make its way into London. I felt it last night while I was in bed. My bed shook a little bit.
Yeah, and because of the direction she pointed at, if she did it one time, that would have been okay. If she did it twice, you know, we could manage it, but 3 times means that Lisbon in Portugal is now destroyed because that created a ripple effect throughout the Atlantic Ocean.
And I'll tell you
isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Who I feel really sorry for, though, is Michael Cole, because he was front and centre. He was the first person to feel the brunt of it. It actually made him a worse commentator.
Yeah, he's brain dead now.
That's
he's
why...
like, there's nothing inside his head.
It wasn't actually him on Monday night. It was just an animatronic. It was Charlie Caruso. And no, I shouldn't pick on Charlie. It was Dasha Fuentes in a Michael Cole cosplay, just doing the commentary, and no one realised.
Because Michael Cole's brain had been pushed about 3 years into the future just by the sheer force. She's a trained MMA fighter, and they're just letting her throw points, stiff points, willy-nilly out there with no respect. I mean, I commend WWE a lot because I think they do very well on their safety standards, largely. But yeah, just have Rousey coming out like that.
It was dangerous stuff.
Dangerous.
But back to the Jeremy Borash thing. I do genuinely think this is quite... Do you want to talk about Ronda Rousey first?
Let's do a little Borash.
Yeah?
Just a tiny, teeny Borash.
Teeny Borash. But like Borash going to WWE, I compared it on the website to Michael Cole leaving WWE at this stage of the career, because Borash has been a writer, producer, commentator, backstage interviewer, wrestler. He has done literally everything for that company. And actually, you hear reports from people who worked for TNA and Impact over the years. They've said that Borash is he's their guy. He's the guy that without him, the company would have really struggled with certain things. He goes to all the wrestling shows around the country, filming stuff for Impact Wrestling. He has done, and has probably been paid peanuts the entire time that he's been doing this, but has been loyal to TNA and Impact Wrestling because he just firmly believes that this was a company that could achieve something. Him leaving is I think that's a bigger sign of the company's decline than Lashley and EC3 going.
I don't want to say that about TNA because it's another regime change, and I really like Don Callis, so maybe it's just a new regime change.
Maybe,
Borash thought,
yeah.
Now's the time to go. I've been here so long. Like, people talk about James Storm as the TNA original there from the first show in 2002. Borash was there before the first show. Like, he outdates... is he the longest serving? Jarrett's gone.
He'd be the longest serving
Road
person,
Dogg's
yeah.
gone. Yeah. And I mean, like, from a personal experience of Borash, what a guy.
Oh, he seems like such a nice chap, yeah.
I've never properly spoken to him. It's always been... back in the day, I went to a TNA fan event.
Nice.
Where we watched an episode of Impact.
Wow, excellent.
What
year was that?
2009, 10.
Yep, good year.
Yeah, and
Main
Event Mafia time, I think. And Borash, I spoke to him. He's like, man, what do you fans want? With these big eyes. And it just makes you feel like the only guy in the room that he's focused on. And I was like, a pay-per-view over here? And he went, we'll make it happen. I was like, oh, yeah! And there was another time at a TNA house show in the UK when he was ring announcing, he's got those big eyes. I was like row 3, and he looked right at me. And I was riding high for the rest of the night. He went, like he pointed. And I didn't really comprehend that he probably does that to at least like 100 people a night. But hey, he knows how to make you feel special.
Man, and him going to NXT, I don't know what role he's going to be in. Do we know the reports, or have the reports said what he's going to be doing while he's there? If he's going to be...
hope just everything. Backstage interviewer is where a Mean Gene is where I really like him in front of camera.
Yeah. He's really good in that backstage role. Actually, he's great in that backstage role. Like he was that guy who could get the best out of interviewees rather, during his time at TNA. I really liked him in that role. Actually, that was that's my era. TNA was Borash was doing backstage stuff. You had Dave Penza doing the ring announcing, and you had the Professor Mike Tenay and Don West on commentary. That's
Don.
TNA to me.
Love Don.
Love Don
Not
West.
then though. Like he got good when he turned heel.
Oh no, he was better when he
Much better.
God, I forgot his heel.
Really
He
good.
was great. He turned heel on Mike Tenay, no less. Oh, I forgot his heel turn. What a great time in TNA that was.
So I mean, we were talking the other day. Renee Young and Jeremy Borash in the same promotion. That is you build Raw and SmackDown around those two guys. Renee on Raw, Borash on SmackDown. But that it's those roles now in WWE aren't roles that are made to get over, and they cannot do anything but get over if they're in those roles.
And if anything, they're in lesser demand now because WWE have essentially done their version of the self-service checkout in a supermarket by having the wrestlers film their own interviews.
Yeah.
So you don't need people to say, my guest at this time, Randy Orton, because Randy's just filming on his phone at house show events. So people like Borash and Renee, they're less needed.
But Ronda Rousey, let's get back to how she will change WWE. She, of course, she turned up at the end of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view on Sunday. It's come out since. ESPN said full-time is the nature of her contract. And then on Raw the next night, she's not there, leading a lot of people to go, well, how full-time is this full-time? We still don't know, but Triple H has said, look, she's shooting a movie right now. She's shooting Mile 22. When she starts, this will be like a full-time gig. An exclusive gig, I think is the term they used. So it looks like, going on reports from various outlets, that her first match will be at WrestleMania. Now, how this will change WWE in general is, and Dave Meltzer has pointed this out mostly, it's WWE's biggest draw now, biggest mainstream draw, is no longer John Cena or Brock Lesnar. It's Ronda Rousey. But that means you have to push the entire women's division front and centre because of that. And apparently that was the reason behind everyone on commentary saying women's division, women's division, women's division. The women started the show and they put over the Sasha Banks and Asuka match so much. And probably a reason they got so much time, and it was only between two women rather than let's just chuck all the women in there like they usually do or have done for the last few months. So yeah, WWE, the structure of Raw and SmackDown, the focus at least, might become a better, this could benefit the women's division greatly.
Well, if that is the case, then there's something I really wish they would have done in the Royal Rumble. I don't think I mentioned this during when we did our review on Monday's episode. If you want to go back and rewatch that, so it's a corking episode. If you haven't, I don't think I mentioned at the time. But one of my biggest, perhaps actually my biggest criticism of the Women's Royal Rumble, bigger than all the other criticisms that I gave, of a match I actually very much enjoyed. I really liked it, and I'm actually going to go back and rewatch it. Is that what storylines came out of it? It was really just Asuka won and Rousey debuted.
Well, you've got Sasha Banks eliminating Bayley in her most heel thing she's done for a long, long time, but that wasn't followed up on Raw.
No.
You know where Bayley was?
No.
On Main Event on Monday.
No.
I just saw your heart break.
Oh, Bayley.
You can do the Simpsons thing where you go, that's the moment Ralph Wiggum's heart breaks. Slow rewind.
Oh, man. Poor Bayley. Why's she been relegated to Main Event?
Yeah.
Well, so further to my point then, really, is that usually the Royal Rumble is used not just to set up your WrestleMania main event, big air quotes for podcast listeners, take a drink. You also set up your other WrestleMania feuds, feuds that are going to happen in the months leading up to WrestleMania. But Sasha Banks' sort of heel turn, whether it's a full heel turn is yet to really be clarified, but she is displaying more heelish tendencies, which I am fully behind because she's a much more engaging character that way. But there's no I don't know what Bayley's feud coming out of it is. I don't know what Becky Lynch's feud is coming out of it. Essentially, she wasn't on SmackDown. Ruby Riott is going into a program with Charlotte, but that didn't come out of the Rumble. That just I don't even know who eliminated Ruby Riott. I'm going to guess it was Nia Jax or Michelle McCool.
I was going to say, statistically, it was Michelle McCool.
Yeah, those would be your best options to go for either one of those. But, like, someone actually said to me that a really great moment during the Rumble that perhaps someone really missed was that when Naomi was doing her spider crawl thing when she was walking around the outside,
yes.
and then she got onto a chair and she kind of slid herself, someone said on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, so I do apologise, said that she should have like asked for Alexa Bliss's chair. And then when she used got onto Bliss's chair, she just pushed the chair over, or just kicked the chair so she fell off.
Yeah,
and that kind of starts a program there. I mean, it doesn't work because Bliss is on Raw and Naomi's on SmackDown, which was pointed out to me by the mayor of Painesville, Dan, and I'd forgotten. I saw that spot and I was like, genius, that's a brilliant spot. Why didn't they do that? Oh yeah, they're on separate brands. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and there's only one time a year when those two stars can clash. That's a Survivor Series.
We're not for another 10 months yet.
Yeah, and what's Dana Brooke doing?
She was back to being a statistician.
Coming out of the Royal Rumble, of course, there's the Rousey stuff. I guess, you can't even say Asuka set up her feud because she didn't say who she was going to face. But one thing that I really liked coming out of the division, the match, was Trish Stratus and Mickie James. Like, as just like a nostalgia Goldberg and Brock Lesnar bout, because Mickie James can still go. It looks like Trish can still go. Maybe make it a 3-way to put over a younger talent.
I was going to say, or make it a tag match where two girls can stand up and be like, we're tired of you old timers. You took over the Royal Rumble and beat down Trish. Mickie comes out to make the save. You have the dream team of Mickie and Trish versus these two
Absolution.
Absolution. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So that'd be great. Yes, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose with Paige at ringside. That'd be really great.
So hopefully, yes. Like, it's weird that a lot of the women's division have criticised Rousey's debut. So we had Nia Jax on Twitter, Nikki Bella on Twitter, Sasha Banks said she's got nothing nice to say about Rousey's WWE debut in a radio interview. So that's 3 stars, 3 WWE wrestlers in the space of 2 days said all those comments, and now it's quieted down a lot. And I personally believe that criticism is a WWE directive.
Yeah.
Because they're smart people. We all know how volatile WWE is. Leo Rush! You wouldn't say that if it wasn't approved by management. So I think that's going to tie into a story. But if it is legitimate, you've got to think women's division, Ronda Rousey being there, just like The Rock for the men's, it's going to bring a bigger payday to all of you. And because WWE and Vince McMahon are spending so much money on this woman, they're going to have to invest a lot more into the other storylines in the division, which is only going to help everything overall.
And that's really what WWE needs. If they are going to be pushing the women's division, if they are, because they've got Rousey now, we're going to make her the centerpiece of this, and because she's the centerpiece, we need to elevate this and really push it hard. I think they need to get out this mindset of just one storyline, of having multiple storylines. Come WrestleMania, and this is where this kind of thing is going to really struggle because you've got such a huge roster of talent. I was about to say what you need is multiple women matches. That's how you get over a women's division. Because at the moment, if you just do 2, one for one championship and one for the other championship, and then the rest of them in like a battle royal or something, it makes them feel like, quote unquote, a separate division. Big air quotes, podcast listeners.
Do you think... So we've had 205 Live. We've had the touring brands. We've had NXT. And then there was the Mae Young Classic last summer. Could you see a new women's promotion under the WWE umbrella? A women's-centric WWE Network show, but has the structured reality elements of a Total Divas.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just thought this up in my head.
Yeah.
So that
And
means
you've got to
Vince
do
is
that,
going to
but-
steal it.
You've got to do that as well because that's what women watch. Women watch reality TV.
But they do, like, statistically they do.
No, I know. I'm
I
being
didn't know if you were...
Yeah, no, I'm being slightly facetious, but also statistics do show that that is the case, yeah.
I'm being ironic, but actually the numbers back up my irony.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Dana Brooke has told me she's crunched the numbers. So I could get behind that. It's that thing of separating them, which is the difficulty. And even then, if you do separate them and give them their own show, they're still only going to have 1 or 2 matches at WrestleMania, which makes them feel like a gimmick attraction. Like you have your one cruiserweight match on Raw, you have your one hardcore match that you used to do back in the day.
I wouldn't take them off Raw and SmackDown. I would keep them there, but there would also be a solely focused, if they were to do this, a solely focused women's show of just women's wrestling, like a 44 minutes commercial half hour show on the WWE network. And because the reason it's such a problem with the cruiserweights is because you're like, well, the cruiserweights can just face the heavyweights. This makes them feel cheaper. But the women will never get that problem because the women, except in mixed match chat, but not even there, they don't lock up. The women are never going to have that second-rate quality because they're always going to be fight as long as you keep the belts in the women's show.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, I think they should just move forward with Mixed Match Challenge. I think they should make Mixed Match Challenge a part of Raw and SmackDown. I just think it's a really great thing. And like as I said to you, I think when we watched the first episode, it gives people who are doing nothing something to do. It puts them into feuds that you don't always have to have the same teams. You can have Alexa Bliss team with someone else. You can have Brawny the Strowman team with someone else. You can put in guys like a Roman Reigns can go in there. Like you could put Cena and Nikki Bella in there as a team, as like the power couple for a little bit. And then just like it keeps it fresh. All the feuds just keep moving. It's like lots of wheels turning. And I think that would be a really fresh thing you can put onto pay-per-views and put on the weekly shows.
I agree it would be fresh, but I also think... I just think they should do the current stuff better.
What, WWE just do it better?
It wasn't just Borash who jumped from TNA to WWE. That isn't fully confirmed, but it pretty much is. Ed Nordholm, the TNA president, said that in an interview this week. But we've also got EC3 and Rockstar Spud, who is now called, do it properly, Drake Maverick. Yeah, so that's fun.
Did I tell you my gimmick idea I hope for Drake Maverick?
Yes, tell me again, because I know it, but that would be a rubbish anecdote if you said that and I said yes, and then we just moved on.
Yeah. No, should we just move on?
No, thanks, it's a good one.
So Drake Maverick came out on 205 Live to announce that he's doing this big old tournament. They haven't shown brackets for it. They're just having matches. The first round matches next week. You've got Kalisto and Lince Dorado, and you've also got Hideo Itami and Roderick Strong. You've also had appearances from Tyler Bate on this week's episode. So you kind of announcing this. What I'd like for Drake Maverick is one of them is to be a surprise reveal, and that surprise reveal is Rockstar Spud. And then you then have Rockstar Spud as a character and Drake Maverick as a character, but no one really sort of connects the two together. Well, the audience will obviously know, and there'll be wrestlers like, you're the same person, but they always act like they're different people. But Drake Maverick is always favouring Spud for these sorts of positions and giving him the opportunities.
That's beautiful. I really like it. I mean, it couldn't happen exactly that way because the commentators have... Vic Joseph already said, oh, look, it's Rockstar Spud, so the commentators would be in on it.
Are you trying to tell me that WWE often say things and do things and then stick to that continuity all the time?
Asuka can't speak English, despite her telling me that no one's ready for her in English. Yes, I think that's such a good idea. Like Rockstar Spud is such a great all-rounder talker. He's oozes charisma. He's a great wrestler. Like he's a good wrestler. He's a great performer.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you do with him, he's gonna be really, really good at it. So, as excited as I am to see him in WWE as quite a prominent figure as the general manager of 205 Live, there was a bit of me that's like, I want to see you wrestle as well and play off the crowd and do
absolutely.
stupid, funny things in matches.
Yeah, totally agree, yeah.
So that would be such a good way to get round it.
Imagine as well if during Spud's match, his first round match, you have a pre-tape of Drake Maverick changing the rules and being like, just so you know, this match is now a no DQ match.
Yeah, really good. I'm really happy that he's in there because that this is like all of those British guys that we grew up watching on independent shows here. He's one of the longest tenured, so it's great to see him over there. Of course, TNA was a big thing as well.
Absolutely.
When he won British Boot Camp.
He was, yeah. But so we've got so he's come across Borash. We've already talked about, and EC3 is the other one. So I heard on Triple H did a conference call before Takeover Philadelphia, where he said the Performance Center is full. We cannot take on any more people. So, like, EC3, War Machine, Candice LeRae, and Ricochet, that's the last group we're going to have.
Oh, we said EC3?
Well, he didn't say EC3 at the time, but
Right.
obviously he's going to be included in that group
okay.
of people. So those people are the last inductees to the Performance Centre
Inductees.
for the time being.
Well, until the next future endeavours,
Well, until they
which
clear
typically happens in March. So.
or we get some post WrestleMania call-ups, because that will then free up some spots,
Of course.
and then new people can come in. But for the moment, he is one of the last ones. What are you hoping to see out of EC3 in NXT?
Just, I don't know really. I'm not wedded to the EC3 name. Like, he can do a very similar gimmick, but I don't think they would allow him to do that because he owns EC3, the trademark now, as I understand how Impact have restructured all their talent contracts. I don't know. He's just playing a smarmy heel. I'd really enjoy. It's a shame I really enjoyed his stuff with Spud back in the day. They could have gone together, but that would never happen.
He could take the role that Bobby Roode has kind of left in, or plug in that hole of the smarmy heel. He's
a much better promo. I really like EC3's promos.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of his. I didn't see a lot of his TNA stuff because I'd stopped watching TNA by the time that EC3 had risen to prominence. So I wasn't watching it week to week. I was kind of like reading up on things. And I heard people say that he was very good, but I don't think I've ever seen an EC3 match or heard an EC3 promo. I don't think possibly I have, because I have watched Impact recently, but like a lot of it just sort of washes over me. So I might have seen him have a match on there. But for years I didn't know what Eli Drake.
Eli Drake's another great talker.
He's a very good talker.
Yeah.
He's a crazy good talker.
So what did they do? Have a gimmick where he doesn't talk for a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what they've done?
That was a while ago.
Oh, okay. Very fair enough. So I'm hoping for big things, but like you're kind of looking at this NXT roster that they've got, because you've got the one world title. And you think about the guys that are currently in that bracket, where you've got Gargano, you've got Lars Sullivan, Roderick Strong. You're bringing in, like, what role is Ricochet going to play? Like, what part is he going to be in that Cassius Ohno role, where you're just sort of like used as enhancement talent? Not saying that Cassius Ohno is enhancement talent, but he's a guy that just helps other people get over. Velveteen Dream is starting to make some headway, and people are really getting behind him. There's just a lot of guys that are really getting over amongst that NXT crowd that you could physically go like, Aleister Black's another one. You can say, like, I could definitely see him getting a title shot at the next takeover show.
It's a good group at the moment.
It's a
really
great
good
group at the moment. And I'm just hoping some really great feuds are going to come out of these new people. Plus, you've got War Machine in there, who could probably have some really good stuff with AOP if they don't get called up. Some great stuff with Sanity if they don't get called up. And the Undisputed Era.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm doing the hand signal.
I think because the camera flips it round, though, so you do it the wrong way. There you go. I think that should do it now.
Well, there's one more name.
There is one more name.
A potential one, which PW Insider...
Just on the last thing of War Machine, I'm really looking forward to War Machine versus Heavy Machinery.
Oh, it's going to be a big, meaty match.
That is a match where, like, you need one of the Raw people to go, like, you need to reinforce the ring.
Oh, yeah. So, actually, PW Insider is saying that he is going to go to MMA. He's going to go back and do a few MMA fights. Well, at least that's what their sources told them. But the Wrestling Observer are saying he was talking to both New Japan and WWE, which is very interesting just as a sentence in itself, that New Japan are trying to go for these levels of American stars now. But the New Japan talks have stopped, so it's almost as like it looks like he's going to WWE. And apparently for a program with Brock Lesnar following WrestleMania 34.
Apparently that's what Lashley has said to his people. America Top Team? Is that who he's a part of?
That's the MMA group, yeah.
Yeah. So he has said that post WrestleMania, Brock's not leaving. He's not going back to UFC. He's sticking around, and it's him and Lashley for the summer.
Lesnar.
Him and Lesnar, him and Lesnar for the SummerSlam.
Yeah, which is, that's a hell... If
Actually, I
that
think
happens...
I was right the first time. Because I said Lesnar sticking around, it's him and Lashley.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, because Lesnar's contract is up just after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So to me, that sounds like nothing soon, because you don't want to debut another person before WrestleMania. Lesnar's going to be tied up with Reigns. I see that as a really good Raw After Mania debut.
I was about to say the exact same thing, a Raw After Mania. Lesnar in the ring with Heyman cutting a promo about how he's going to be going back after Roman Reigns to recapture his Universal Championship that he lost the night before. Who should come out to the ring but only Bobby Bloody Lashley, almost like mimicking the Brock Lesnar coming back with him and Cena.
It's the return of the douchebag rating system. That is my rating system that I'm very self-conscious about, but you, the viewers, want to keep it going. So what we do, I gave my star ratings for the Royal Rumble and NXT after the shows, and now Dave Meltzer's have come out. So let's see where I am compared to the esteemed 200 decade plus brilliant wrestling mind of Dave Meltzer.
He's certainly
the most respected journalist in wrestling.
You don't have to respect his opinions. Well, maybe no. You have to respect him by what he's accomplished.
Yes,
but you don't have to agree with his opinions.
That's
maybe that's
the best way to put it.
That's the best way to put it.
So we do the Royal. No, we do NXT. No, we do Rumble first, and then
that's
we'll do
already
NXT.
up. Yeah,
because that's just the easiest thing to do. What we've got here. Yeah.
So yeah,
there we go.
So
I gave AJ Styles and beating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn 2.5 stars. 3.5 stars. Way off with Meltzer.
From Big Daddy Meltz.
The Usos versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. That was a 3-star match, according to Meltzer. But, according to this guy right here, I'm not as easily impressed. 2.5 stars. I'm undercutting Dave.
You really are.
If anything, I've got higher standards at the moment. But now, here we go. The Men's Royal Rumble. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really love this match. And he gave it 4.25.
4.25. You got to wonder where that half a star went. Or that quarter of a star went, rather.
That is that's a high rating for Meltzer in a Rumble.
Yeah, he's usually very critical of Rumbles.
The Sheamus and Cesaro versus Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan death spot. Dave Meltzer gave that 2.25 stars. And this guy right here gave it 2 stars. So
still
it was worse.
Undercutting him once again.
He's missed out the KFC Rumble, which is disappointing. I gave that 5 stars.
Did get the full 5 stars.
Then we had the Brock Lesnar, Kane, Strowman 3-way, 2 stars.
I'm unsurprised.
That's a terrible rating. And I also gave it 2 stars. Wow, I thought I gave it more. Yes, I matched him.
I'm going to pull out every single time you do it, the Pacific Rim rating. You think that match is just as good as Pacific Rim.
Stand by that. And finally, Big Meltzer gave the Women's Rumble 3.25 stars. And your boy, Oli D, gave it 3 stars.
See, I think one of the differences between you and Dave is that Dave is quite happy to give out those quarter stars, whereas you don't. You're a 3, or you're a half, or a full. Like there's no in between. It might maybe that would change.
Stages.
Yeah, maybe that would change as you go along. You've not been doing this for 25 plus years, or 35 plus years even. So maybe when we come back to doing the WrestleRamble in 35 years' time, you'll actually be doing all the quarters as well, and we'll probably have gone up to 6-7 stars at some point.
I'll be doing like 0.289 stars at that point, going to the decimals. Now, where's the NXT ones? This is such a well planned out thing. Do you want to? Oh, here they are. So, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly beating Authors of Pain. 3.5 stars from Meltz.
Which means he thinks it was as good as the AJ Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match.
That's ridiculous.
Which I disagree with, because I thought it was a much better match.
But I also gave it 3.5 stars, but my ratings are more consistent. I'm not throwing shade. We love Meltzer. Velveteen Dream pinning Cassius Ohno. 2.75 stars.
Unsurprised at that. I'm unsurprised at the next. I'm sorry. I am surprised at the next one, but I'm unsurprised at that one.
So I remember listening to Meltzer's review. He was very critical of the botches. Said it was very sloppy. I loved the character, and I thought the character work and the match structure around that and the story was great. I gave it 4 stars.
4 stars, mate. That's so high.
Different planets.
It's twice as good as Pacific Rim.
Yeah, much better. Yeah. Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon. I gave this one 3 stars. Big Meltz gave it 2.75.
Yeah, so you were sort of on the same there. I really liked it. I really liked the match. I thought the Baszler was really great. I thought Ember Moon's selling of it was really good. Do appreciate though we had this when we did the review, and you something I didn't really pick up on at the time, but you quite correctly pointed out that it really kind of undersells the impact of the armbar. The one after she'd broken her arm, she stayed in an armbar for quite a long time.
Too long. Aleister Black beating Adam Cole.
And after I've just said that you don't do quarter stars, there's a quarter star right there.
4.25 stars. It's not a 4.5 match.
Didn't even take 35 years. You broke in 35 minutes.
I matched Big D.
Match Big D. A lot of people. Do you know what's amazing?
4.25
There were a lot of
Big D.
people in the comment section after our review of the NXT show, where we said that the main event was possibly, it could be a match of the year contender already. A lot of people were arguing that the Aleister Black Adam Cole match was so much better and didn't really like the Gargano Almas match.
It's the beauty of wrestling. People can have different opinions. Although, me and Dave don't, because we both thought the main event, Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas, 5-star match. So we both gave it 5 stars.
People, going by the reaction I've seen online, people are amazed that this got 5 stars. Not because it wasn't a 5-star match, but because Dave Meltzer, quote-unquote, only gives 5-star matches to New Japan stuff. So everyone was genuinely really shocked that he gave this 5 stars. Whereas I was like, after I listened to the Wrestling Observer review, I was like, he's definitely going to give that 5 stars. He just said it could be the best NXT match of all time.
I feel like people who say that don't watch wrestling outside WWE enough. I know that might be a bit patronising, but I can't see it any other way, because the standard of wrestling everywhere else in the world is at such a high standard, be it indie shows or Ring of Honor or New Japan, or maybe it's just a different style of wrestling that I enjoy a lot more. WWE don't do that style. They do WWE style, which is a watered-down version of it. So that's the reason they don't get 5-star ratings, because you watch New Japan, you watch Ring of Honor, you watch Rev Pro down the road. Those matches are infinitely better. So your 5-star standard is like up here now. So everything you watch on WWE isn't going to be 5 stars, unless occasionally WWE put on a non-WWE match, like the Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne stuff from last year. John Cena and AJ Styles, I'd say that's a good example of a WWE big match that's worthy of 5 stars.
I don't think it was. I wouldn't have given that a 5 stars. But then again, I'm not rating these things.
Yeah.
Although it was funny that I didn't even realise that technically we do rate Raw and SmackDown out of 5 each and every week. But that's why when we came to do the end of year list, that I didn't do the best matches of 2017, because my argument would be I've not seen every match from 2017. So I can't compile that list in the same way that I haven't seen every wrestler in the world for 2017, so I couldn't compile it. So I just compiled my favourites ones of the stuff that I've seen.
According to Luke Owen.
Yeah, according to Luke Owen.
So that's all we've got time for today, but we've got a movie to give a shout out to, which I watched over the other weekend, Heel Kick, which is a story about 2 very unprofessional wrestlers. It's filmed in a kind of mockumentary style. You've only seen the trailer,
but it was really funny.
It's very funny.
I've really been wanting to watch this ever since I saw that trailer. I've been, but I haven't had the time to do it.
It's genuinely worth it.
I'm going to try and watch it tomorrow, actually.
Yeah. It's I was surprised by how much. I won't go into too much detail then, because I don't want to ruin it for you. But I thought it was going to be out and out comedy. It's like 90 minutes long, so it's very quick. But it has a surprising amount of heart in the last act, which really, took it up to another gear. It wasn't just a spot fest of comedy. It had a little bit of selling at the end.
Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
What can you ask for?
Like a proper wrestling story.
Yeah, but if you want to check that out, we've got a link in the video description below where you can buy it and watch it on iTunes or Google or whatever your chosen thing is. But for now, please click the videos that have just appeared below myself and Luke to catch up with the latest WrestleRamble or WrestleTalk news. Subscribe to this channel. Visit WrestleTalk.com. This has been Luke Owen. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was Rambling.